We usually think of medicine as this super high-tech thing, right? Something cooked up in a sterile lab. But what if one of the best ways to heal a really nasty wound was already sitting in your kitchen? That's what we're talking about today, the incredible and totally scientific healing power of honey. And look, this is not just some old wives' tale. We've got experts like Dr. Terry Norton, who's the director of the Georgia Sea Turtle Center, saying that there is a ton of research on this. So yeah, veterinary science is taking this ancient remedy very, very seriously. So just how powerful can it be? Well, at that exact same Sea Turtle Center on Jekyll Island, they're using it in a super high-stakes situation, healing the wounds of endangered animals. I mean, we're talking about saving a species with something you'd put on your toast. It's wild. Now, this is the really cool part. It's a true community effort. Local beekeepers have actually teamed up with the rehab center. They're the ones providing the raw honey that the vets are using to treat these sea turtles, putting its natural healing magic to work. As amazing as that story is, the real power of this whole thing hits you when you bring it down from this big conservation effort to something a lot more personal, a crisis involving a single, much-loved family dog. So let's meet Ozzy. He's a 12-year-old Jack Russell, and his story is where this ancient medicine smacks right into a modern-day emergency. Okay, picture this. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Christmas Eve. Everything's supposed to be quiet and festive. But then Ozzy decides he's going to chase a stray dog off his property. He barrels right past his electronic fence and into the road, and the absolute worst happens. The next thing you know, it's a frantic rush to the emergency vet. His owner is just terrified, not knowing how bad the injuries are or if Ozzy's even going to make it there. And the vet's report? It was a real mixed bag. The good news? Somehow, no broken bones. But the bad news was awful. Really severe road rash all over his underbelly, and they had no idea what kind of internal damage there might be. After 2 days, they sent Ozzy home, but the hardest part, healing those wounds, was just getting started. So because of where the wounds were, trying to bandage him up the normal way was going to be almost impossible. That's when Ozzy's owner, remembering something she'd read, threw out this kind of wild idea to her vet. What if they tried honey? And you know what? The vet's face just lit up. She was totally on board. She started talking about research she knew from the University of Guelph on this exact thing, and she'd even used honey herself to treat a swan with terrible burns. This wasn't just a guess. This was a plan. So why does this even work? Well, honey has this incredible 3-part superpower. First, its acidity makes it a terrible place for germs to live. Second, it's hyperosmotic, which is a fancy way of saying it literally pulls all the fluid and gunk out of a wound, keeping it clean. And get this, a special enzyme from the bees creates a tiny, steady supply of hydrogen peroxide right on the wound. It's like a built-in antiseptic factory. All right, so they had the science on their side. Now it was time to put it to the test. Let's get back to Ozzy's recovery and see what happened next. The at-home plan was pretty intense. They had to slather raw honey on sterile pads and change them twice a day. And here's the best part. To keep the dressings on his belly, his owner actually made him a custom pair of fancy pants. And of course, the whole look was completed with the classic cone of shame to make sure he left everything alone. And the results were? Well, they were just unbelievable. They started the honey treatment on day 2. By day 6, that's less than a week later, his owner said she was already seeing wonderful healing. There was new, healthy pink skin starting to grow where that horrible wound had been. And we're not just talking a little scab. The proof was right there. He never got an infection. Not only did brand new skin grow back, but his original little freckles came back too. It wasn't just healed, it was completely restored. So when you look back at Ozzy's story, from that awful Christmas Eve to a full recovery, what's the big takeaway here? I think his owner's words say it all. She said he made a full recovery to the amazement of us all. You can just feel the relief and the pure shock that something so simple worked so incredibly well. And really, that's the bottom line. Honey isn't just some sweet treat. It's a legitimate medical tool. A simple thing you have in your cupboard provided a real, science-backed path to healing when they needed it most. It really leaves you with something to think about. Ozzy's story proves that amazing solutions can be found in the most ordinary places. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other powerful remedies like this are just hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to rediscover them?